More recently, we've also seen the emergence of the Quad, AUKUS, and the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. And of course, even more recently, the expansion of BRICS. These recent developments, in fact, are part of a response to a transition from a unipolar world to a multipolar world. Consequently, countries are hedging through these different configurations amidst a more divided and uncertain global environment. We will keep an open mind on all these new constructs, and we will continue to watch developments closely insofar as they impact on Singapore. Ultimately, our decision on whether or not to join a specific grouping must be carefully considered, and it must be clearly defined by our national interests. We must be guided by the fundamental objectives of Singapore's foreign policy, and it's worth reiterating what these are. First, to protect our independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Second, to secure access to essential supplies, food, water, energy, and to keep air and sea lines of communication open for this purpose. Third, to expand economic opportunities for Singaporeans and Singapore companies in order to maintain our relevance to the world and to make a living. In a more volatile world that is increasingly inimical to the security and survival of small states like Singapore, we must try to shape global norms by making common cause with as many friends and partners as possible in order to support multilateralism, the rule of law, and of course, the UN Charter. Singapore does not take sides, but we will uphold principles, even if this means from time to time having to say no to other states, some of which can be our close partners or even superpowers. And this long-standing, consistent, and principled approach to foreign policy has served us well and has afforded us the strategic maneuvering space. What is important for Singapore is that these new emerging arrangements, especially where they intersect with our region, do not undermine ASEAN centrality, and that these arrangements support an open and inclusive regional architecture and promote a rules-based order based on international law. In particular, we want ASEAN to continue to play a central convening role, and for our region to have the center of gravity, which brings all the key players together to find common ground and to harness ASEAN's full economic potential. Singapore will continue to be a credible, reliable, and predictable partner to all, and we will always act in our long-term national interests. This is the most sensible position for Singapore, a multiracial, multi-religious, multilingual city-state, an island in the heart of Southeast Asia, in which all the superpowers and indeed middle powers have a stake. And we are, because of our geography, because of our economic role, we do best when we can engage everyone, not by aiming to take sides or be a vassal state or be a proxy state, which in fact I think will be a recipe for disaster and invite the recreation of Southeast Asia as an arena for proxy wars. So I'll make the point that our current posture is the correct one, is the essential one, given our national circumstances, our geography, our economic and strategic role. In order for us to take this position of not taking sides and upholding principles, we need domestic cohesion and consensus, including in this House. Because if foreign powers believe that they can erode our resolve by dividing us. They will. There's no doubt about that. And all the more so because, in fact, all the major civilizations and religions are represented here. So I'm making the point there needs to be domestic consensus. And our domestic politics must stop at the water's edge. And that we've been able to do for 59 years. And the point I'm making is that we must continue to do so.